You know,
What's going on, man?
I'm a little
It's Frank
disappointed.
Starfire.
Nice to meet you.
And, I'm a simple
Welcome
guy,
back
and
to
I
the world
live
of
my
Frank
life by really
Starfire.
simple means, you know what I mean?
It's an
And,
amazing
I live by
place.
simple mottos and credos
You
and
know,
phrases and everything
place
because
that
it works for me, you know what I mean?
wonderful
Lately,
captains.
I've adopted a new one.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy Frank Starfire, and you are in the Just to Be Frank podcast. Welcome. I appreciate you for joining me as ever. Today is a special one. I'm going to have my boy Kevon Husband on. He's a writer. He is a motivational speaker, and he's also a member of the NYPD. So I think that that's kind of important to talk to him. You know, since he is an active member of the NYPD, there's not much I can actually ask him in certain regards because, you know, it would go against policy. I don't want to get him in no hot water with the motherfucking top brass and shit. So, you know, I definitely respect that. And what I'll do, you know, so we'll have a conversation. We'll see where it takes us. You know what I'm saying? In the meanwhile, I felt like I wanted to bring this to you first. I mean, there's been a lot going on lately. So obviously, if you watched my morning musings, available on YouTube and on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Google, iTunes, and all blah, 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 you will have heard me, basically send, the president and his wife well wishes and hope that they get better from their bout with COVID. Now, of course, again, I am more of an objective individual, and I definitely don't want anybody to get sick. So that's kind of where I came from with that, and I hope people will understand that. Like, hey, like I said, I don't support them. Won't definitely vote for them. But I also recognize that you can't be somebody that's going to wish ill on others. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's not good for any of us. So now, of course, he left after 24 hours and put other people in danger again. So, there's that. I don't know, man. Like, truth of the matter is, as I always say, this is 2020. We don't know much of anything. And the only thing we really do know for certain is we don't know what the fuck is going on right now. Pardon me, I yawned in the middle of that. We don't know what the fuck is going on right now. And that's kind of where we're at. And I guess that's just where we're going to have to be for now. What I hope beyond hope is that we come out of this. I'm hoping this whole shit blows over. I'm hoping the conspiracy theorists are true. And on November 4th, we'll have a new president and COVID will be gone. I don't genuinely know if that's exactly what's going to happen because I don't really know. I don't know enough about anything, honestly. I just don't. As far as this shit goes, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Excuse me. I have no idea what the hell's going on. So, all I can say is I hope we can figure it out. I hope we can come to some better place beyond this. I'm always optimistic. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. That's my motto. So I'm always optimistic about the future, but I am definitely making a plan for escape if necessary. And as I always say, there's a lot going on. I'm getting everything situated here because, like I say, the ultimate goal is to have guests come in. The Zoom podcasts are fine. However, if you notice, Zoom after a certain amount of time starts to lose its bandwidth, and you start to get to doing the robot shit. So, excuse me, good Lord, I am actually exhausted today. But what Zoom does, still allows me to do the interviews. It's just they're not as clear as I want them to be. So, but unfortunately, I just want to keep bringing you content. So I'll use what I got. I'm working on trying to figure out how to use this OBS system, and I gotta tell you, this shit is very, very difficult. I'm not a techno guy like that. I'm not a tech guy. You know what I'm saying? Doing this. I know how to craft a story. I know how to write. I know how to give a promo. I know how to work the angles of a room. I know how to set up a shot. I know how to film. I know how to take pictures. What I don't really know how to do is all the shit necessary to put it all together into one cohesive thing. Now, I'm learning as I go. And as you notice, there has been a great steady progression to each video. I mean, they're still a little choppy at best sometimes, but we're doing our best, and we're certainly hoping for it all. And when I say we, I mean me, because I'm technically doing it all by myself. So, I'll accept help in any way you would like to give it, be it monetarily or just advice on how to do this. I always do. Shout out to my boy Casket on the beat. Go over on his YouTube channel and check that out. What he's got going on over there. He's got a lot of different content that's kind of cool. If you see, I got the Cappy Man Records joint on. Go on over to my boy Coach Cap and Doughboy Sums. They got a show on YouTube now, and on Spotify, Anchor, and all that. It's called The Slang Editorial Show. So go check that out. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to that. And, just keep spreading the love, man. If you like what you hear, man, just don't be afraid to hit the like, subscribe, and share, man. And, even if you hear something that you don't agree with, feel free to reach out. I'm always willing to engage as long as it's positive and it's going to lead to growth. You know what I'm saying? But if it's just, negative bullshit, then I'm not going to listen to that shit. Man, fuck you. You know what I mean? So I'm always open to constructive criticism, please, by all means. But again, manners counts for something, man. Make sure you come correct when you come at me. Word up. Other than that, man, I'm going to send you on over to the video now because I can see I'm already starting to fucking glitch and shit. I'm entering the matrix. So this is the Just to Be Frank podcast. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to send you on over to the interview with my boy Kevon Husband. And holla at me, y'all. Let me know what's good. I'll see y'all next time on the Just to Be Frank podcast. Abracadabra. One love. Let's go. Okay. Yo, can you hear me right now? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you right now. Your mic is still off. Yeah, you gotta hit the shit. I don't know if you can hear me, but you gotta hit the microphone. We had it before. We were there. All right. There you go.
All right, now I got you. Yeah.
There you go, man. Salute. How are you, good brother? You know what? Let me just position.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'm good, man. It's glad to see you, man. As ever, I'm glad to see you. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're healthy and
Thank you.
Word, man. So we are recording this. So I was telling the people exactly what it is that you do. I told them that you're a writer, motivational speaker, and you also happen to be a member of the NYPD. Now, is all this still true?
It's still true, man.
Okay,
at
good.
At least this morning when I woke up, it was still true. Yeah.
All right, bet. I want to make sure, I don't, we don't misrepresent anything, man. But how are you, good brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know what I mean? God is good, and we're alive, and we keep pushing. Keep pushing positivity. I like the fact that we kind of started like a similar place, and I'm seeing you now, and I always follow you. You know what I mean? We always talk and stuff like that. So I'm glad that this is happening.
Yes, indeed, man. It's a long time coming. I'm actually making it so that we can indeed get you in studio. I got everything I need. Now I'm waiting on is another camera and another light bulb, and then I'm ready to have guests. You know, so it's
You still in PA?
I'm in PA. I'm in PA. I ain't leaving here yet. I got some time.
All right, man. Well, you know what? We could make it. We could make it happen, man. We could make it happen.
Listen, I don't mind traveling. Listen, I'm still welcome in New York. I'm still a New Yorker.
Nah, but see, for you to come to New York, you know what I mean? That's like, yeah, homecoming. But for me to come PA is like, I ain't been in PA since last year, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and that was just more like a, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That was I'm track, you know what I mean?
You're right.
So it's a little different.
Oh, you're losing service a little bit.
I got you.
Yeah. But so as you can tell, so tell people about, first of all, let's talk about your book, because I think it was a dope read. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you, man.
What made you you post these things on Facebook, you do them on on Instagram. These are like your positive thoughts. What made you write a book with that?
Well, to be honest, I had no intention at all of actually writing a book. Okay. You know, so let me get that out, you know what I mean, just to be honest. But what it is I started doing, when I was 26 years old, I had like a desire to have a lifestyle change, you know, and what it is I started doing, I started writing down my thoughts. Okay. You know, just my regular thoughts. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily positive or negative. And then I used to work at like a social welfare place. Okay. And everyone in that who came there, they would always want to see me. And I was like, why? And then people would be like, no, because, you know, I mean, you have a certain demeanor about you and stuff like that. And then people would, like, not knowing me, would just talk to me about their problems. Right. And I'd be like, you know, don't you want to talk to like the psychiatrist or somebody who's like skilled in that? And they would be like, no, you'll do it's fine. Right. So I kind of realized that, you know, God kind of sends people your way. So I had to become better. So I started, you know, continuing to write down stuff, but I was kind of more, you know, leaning towards like positivity. Mm-hmm. And before I knew it, I had like some papers like this thick, you know what I mean? Because not everything I publish in the book is all my thoughts, you know, only the feasible ones I thought made it into the book. Okay. And, you know, not to, you know, go too long, eventually I realized I had the potential for a book. And, you know, I kind of had get like confirmation from 2 people that I should do a book. And I have this thing about me, Frank, that if 2 people who are unrelated, don't know each other, could say the same thing about me, then they might see something that I can't see, you know what I mean? If you the picture, you know what I mean, you don't get to see how the frame looks, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, so what is that is eventually...
Objectivity is a superpower. People don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? Objective opinion.
It is, you know what I mean?
Come in handy.
Listen, you start talking about superpowers, we're going to end up talking about comic books, man.
You know that. You see R2-D2 on my joint, man. You can see Harley Quinn and Wolverine in the background. Like, I have never left my comic book.
I should have wear my Batman jersey, man. I was like, nah, let me wear my soccer jersey, man. I was like, you know what I mean? Oh, God. But anyhow, but eventually, you know what I mean? I realized that I had it in me, and this is kind of like my little way to do my corner. Mm-hmm. The book came about because, you know what? I went from being the world's most negative thinker to actually, you know, having a little bit of belief in myself. Wait. And this book is
Hold on, I want to stop you right there, because I can't for the life of me. I've known you a fairly long time now. I can't for the life of me remember a time or think of a time where you seem to have any sort of negative thoughts. I don't know what just happened. I think I just lost them. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I was saying, like, I can't remember a time where it ever seemed like you were, you ever were in a negative place or in a down place. Like, you've always been a real, up kind of guy. So that's very surprising to me.
Well, you know what it is that, sometimes you put out this aura that you want people to see,
Sure,
but
we all wear
inside, you know what I mean, is like, it was kind of hard, So when I say the world's most negative thinker, that's what I taught of myself. This is, it's not just a label, but, I used to think that, okay, I come to work, I'm going to get fired.
Right.
I go home, I might get hit by a car. Nothing ever works out for me. Why everybody else, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by the world's most negative thinker. You know what I mean? But, to go back to what we were saying was that eventually I realized that I had some level of greatness in me, and I can't, as we all do, and I tapped into that. And you know what? We eventually got a book out of it, man, and life has changed for me. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. And so, all right. So you wrote the book. You said you were 26 when you started. You said you said you were
20. Well, 26 when I went through the mindset change. I started it at. Let me see. I started it at 29.
okay.
Yeah, 29. I started. Yeah.
Okay.
But 26 was when I was battling my demons and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I eventually just made friends with mine. We're good now. Me and my demons, we're fine. We're on a first name basis. It's okay. So when did you decide that you were going to go from a writer, or were you already a police officer at this time, or did that? Like when you first, like when you
I wasn't an officer.
Say again. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Okay. I didn't. This was before I was an officer. You know what I mean? The final product came out when I was an officer.
Okay.
But I've been doing the idea has been in me long before then.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, so you've wanted to be a cop. You wanted to be a member. I guess not the NYPD, because you're not originally from the States, but you wanted to provide service. Like, service is something you seem to be drawn to. Like, you seem to be drawn to service. Like, you do motivational speaking. That's a service, but it's a service designed to help people. You know what I'm saying? So that seems to be your overall calling. So I want to know what I'm guessing West Indian parents and roti, because that's a staunch motivator for me too. I understand. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to know, like, what prompted this ideology of going? What prompted this ideology, I guess, of going into the service industry in that way? Like, everything you've done has been designed to help people. Even when I met you when we were doing health insurance. We were doing customer service for a health insurance company for Medicare. So you seem to be drawn specifically to helping people. Why is that?
Well, you know what? I kind of look at it like this. I'm the type of person, is either I put up or I shut up. A lot of people, they're motivated by whatever factors. Me, I just want to see, people get the best out of life. Myself get the best out of life.
Right.
I like to help people, that's no doubt. And I think just even me transitioning to become a police officer, it was a big adjustment, because, given the history of, this country, it's not exactly like being an architect or being a doctor or anything like that. So, I have to put myself in the position, like, I'm not going to be the same as everybody else, and I'll continue to be myself. And people like yourself and others have, seen that and have respected me for such. And some people, they don't see it the same, but, I can't judge them because maybe they may have had a different experience or different experiences or whatnot. But for me, I know that, I can help people. And one sure way to get credibility, in anything you do, an officer gets a lot of credibility. You see them, you stop, what's the word I'm looking for? They give a lot of credence to what they do.
Right.
If they do you something wrong, you feel a kind of way. If they do something right, you feel like there's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
And, I'm just trying to do the right things.
Well, I mean, I can say, knowing the history of this country the way I do, and you're from Trinidad. You're from Trinidad. So
yes,
here, the system of, obviously, we know, you obviously know more than anybody, especially in New York, the history of the NYPD and some of the things that they've had, happened. Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, these things are Mars on the precinct. But I also recognize that there's bad in everything. It doesn't. There are bakers that are complete pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? There are doctors that are morally fucked. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just police that are bad. There are just individuals that are bad. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, then they go into the profession of policing, and it just kind of amplifies their asshole. You know what I'm saying? In a manner of speaking. You know what I'm saying?
I'll definitely confirm that with you, man.
Yeah.
We do have bad apples, you know what I
Right.
mean? And if you give me the liberty, I like to say something. A lot of times people, they might ask, well, how come, if you're, type A, how come you don't talk to type B? And I tell people, listen, not everything needs to happen on social media. I personally have confronted people who I think were not doing what or not upholding the law as they should.
Right.
I've spoken to racist individuals already. It's even gotten to a point where I may have possibly, almost got to blows with somebody, but I don't post everything on social media.
Right.
If I got a problem with you, Frank, then that's me and your business. I don't have to put it out there for everybody to see, you know what I mean? So, just putting that aside,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right. I understand that.
But the main point I wanted to make is that, a job doesn't change somebody's character. You know what I mean? Like you say, if I was an asshole before, then I'm going to be one regardless. You know what I mean?
Right.
A job or occupation doesn't change a person. A person is a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, for me, I could only speak for me. I try to do my best, you know what I mean, to treat everybody with respect. And, the same me on the job, the same me you grow accustomed to is the same person that I am.
So, all right. So now when you hear things like defund the police, what the hell does that mean to you? Because when I think of defund the police, I think, all right, maybe there shouldn't, maybe every police department doesn't need tanks. You know what I'm saying? Or armored vehicles to parade through poor black communities. Because when the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl, motherfuckers was rioting, but they didn't call it rioting, and there were no tanks out there for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You scream Black Lives Matter. That's a whole. Now all of a sudden the tanks come out, and here comes the tear gas. And I think maybe that police officers, and of course this is from the outside looking in, but I would figure that you would want more funding, because then that would equal more training, more tactical training, more more therapy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be going through therapeutic practices throughout the entirety of your career, not when you just get burnt out or when you, after you've seen something crazy. You know what I'm saying? I imagine every rookie who sees their first DB is like, you know what I'm saying? They're going up chuck for the most part. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, you definitely get upchucked. Yeah.
It takes a certain type of constitution and character to be a cop, but it also required, I think the first question should be, how often were you in lockers between elementary school and high school? That should be the first question. Because if you were bullied, chances are you're going to become the bigger bully once you have the means to do so. And if you were already a bully, well, again, you're just going to be a bully. You know what I'm saying? So I think that should definitely go into the training of the police in that regard, and throughout their policing, throughout their job, tactical training.
Well, you see, this is the thing. You're actually being objective, you know. So I could definitely live with that, and I totally agree with what you say. The problem with most people is that, especially in this social media age, is that people they like to talk, and very few people don't do research. They get information from memes or some Johnny come lately lawyer or some politician with an agenda or some future politician with an agenda to get, you know what I mean? So my thing is that, you know, I always tell everybody, you know, before you express something, at least do some research.
Right.
You know, do some research on some stuff. You know,
like the young lady earlier with her with trying to correct you about the name of the damn hashtag. Like, come on, you can watch an episode of Family Guy and learn what an ampersand is. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, you can. You know, like people like that, I don't even, you know, bother with. You know what I mean? I'm not even gonna give her. You know, I'm not even gonna waste Zoom's algorithms here. You know what I mean, on her. So, but what is I was gonna say is that, you know, other people don't understand. They just latch on to stuff and they go with it, and because they might feel a certain way about it, you know what I mean, then yeah, it becomes correct, and that's totally asinine, and you know that's almost like you making yourself illiterate about a subject. You know what I mean?
Right.
For me, the whole thing about it, you know, you had said something about defunding the police, and you was explaining stuff like that. But you know, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, and this is why I say that. If you live in New York City, or you live in Los Angeles, you live in one of these alpha cities, American alpha cities.
Okay.
What it is you're gonna find is that you're more target for terrorism. You know.
Right.
And before, how do I put it? Before the major agencies, because I gotta watch what I'm saying.
Well, of course,
before the major agencies,
the lettered guys,
respond, it's the guys on the ground, the guys who know the beat,
right,
are the ones who are gonna be the first, literally the first responders against all forms, you know what I mean, of terror, you know, and you know, these guys, you know, need to be equipped with the best training and the best equipment. Now, if you're in a small town in, let's say, North Dakota or in Iowa or something like that, then the need isn't as pressing for the militarization or for that type of equipment. But, you know, if you're living, you know, especially in New York as an immigrant city, you are definitely going to need, you know, not want, but need to be equipped, you know what I mean? You know, it's about, you know, 35,000 standing army, you know what I mean? To put it that way, and that's not even good for army, much less for, you know what I mean, a department. So what it is gonna have to happen is that, yeah, there's a lot of training going on, you know, and a lot of people, like I said, they talk stuff and they don't know stuff, but there is a lot of training going on. I'm not at liberty to say exactly what goes on.
No, but, you're right. I get that.
But
no, I mean, so, like, for example, if if you were, like you said, if you're in a major metropolitan city,
Mm-hmm.
how much community outreach goes into that? Like, I remember a time where cops did ride-alongs. I don't know if they do things like that anymore. You know, like, you know, and that kind of helps not only the person who is the police officer get an idea of who's out there in the neighborhood, but it gives the person in the neighborhood a chance to get to know the police officer as a person. I worked at the 7-Eleven right there on Farmers and Linden, like maybe like 3-4 years ago. I was working overnights. So I met a lot of cops from the 113th precinct. Now I grew up around the 113th precinct. I went to PS 30. I went to 72. You know what I mean? 113th precinct is that's my neighborhood joint. What I discovered about, and you know, at 7-Eleven, you get, if you're a first responder, you get free coffee. So we saw cops all night, every night. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing I discovered the most about almost every officer is almost all of them, and whether they had 5 years on the job, 10, 12, 15, whatever, when you ask them just offhand, how many times have you pulled your service weapon? None. Once. You know what I'm saying? Twice. You know what I'm saying? Those are the answers I would get, because, you know, I'm a curious guy. When I add, you know what I mean, like what's a typical, like, you know, day like for a cop once you get off tour? Well, after our 15-hour tour, I just want to go home, see my wife, drink a beer, and go to sleep. Like, what you find is that they're people too. You know what I'm saying? So that, again, it requires a little bit of objectivity to see it that way. But again, that's community outreach. They didn't just come in and get free coffee. They'd come in, they'd sit there and they'd talk. We'd be able to, we'd talk for a good 10, 15 minutes. And, you know, and then when they get you know, I got to go. I'll see you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? I never felt animosity, you know, from any of them. Maybe it was the free coffee, but you know, and I've been arrested a number of times by the NYPD, and never did I ever feel like I was unjustly arrested. I did the shit. I had the weed. You know what I'm saying? I had the knives. I did.
This is the key word here is objectivity. You know what I mean? And like I tell people, how could you hate somebody and you don't know them?
Right.
You know, you never give yourself a chance to know them, you know what I mean? And most people aren't objective. Most people are subjective or self-serving.
Sure.
You know, so if it doesn't, you know what I mean? So while you could come out and you could, you know, admit like, yeah, well, I did have this and I did have that, and, you know, it's my bad or whatever, you do have some people that, you know, still want to continue along their strands,
right,
and just, you know, live their life, and whatever consequences or circumstances hit them, they just, you know, continue and they don't learn from it, you know what I mean? So people like you would actually like, you know what, yeah, I owned up to it, you know what I mean? No hard feelings, you know what I mean? But then there are other people who just want to continue, you know what I mean, on the same trajectory, and, you know, it is what it is at that point, you know what I mean? You know, and just for the record, I don't need donuts, okay?
No, you know what? I think my only real beef with the NYPD after one arrest, they took my Game Boy Advance with a Yu-Gi-Oh game in it, and I had like all the God cards and everything. Like I was deep in the game, and I'm like, yo, y'all, I got Yu-Gi-Oh here. I'm not a threat to anybody. Like, and they still have it. They might still be in the precinct somewhere. They still got my damn Game Boy, man. I'm mad.
That is hilarious.
Fair enough. I'm mad.
You know, but back then, Yu-Gi-Oh was serious back then, man.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh was serious.
It was serious, man.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something funny? Is that I actually learned about the moon's effects on tide, on the tides of the ocean,
from a Yu-Gi-Oh
by watching Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
From a Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon.
Yo.
I was like, wow, I had no idea. That's how I actually went and Googled it after. And it's like, Yeah, that's how it works. So I'm like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
I understand the seriousness of Yu-Gi-Oh, man. I feel
Well,
your pain.
well, now think about this. I remember learning geography from the Animaniacs, Yakko singing the damn all the countries of the world. But I also grew up without Google, so I had the encyclopedia that I had to go fucking thumb through, to try and find things, and half the stuff in those are wrong now. We've learned more now. They're wrong, but I often wonder, especially as somebody who's getting back on track here, um, and then you also do motivational speaking. So
Mhm.
so I that's something I try and do. That's kind of what spawned this podcast. Uh, I had outlined about 10 chapters of a book I wanted to write called Just to Be Frank. And it's not about gaining wealth. It wasn't about gaining anything more than just trying to be a positive spirit, but it was with the design of, I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm just telling you what to do and how to do it. Shut up and do it. Like, that was kind of, now that's not exactly always motivating, but I sometimes feel like that's what people need, a kick in the ass. Like, yo, no, shut up, do this, and you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I have all the
Listen,
answers, but I know what worked for me. So
well,
what?
look at it this way. Look at it this way, right? Um, everybody reacts to things differently,
Mhm.
and whether you try to be as discreet or you try not to sugarcoat something, somebody's gonna get it. There's always going to be somebody that is gonna understand your style,
Right,
And I actually think that Just to Be Frank, which is actually a play on your name,
right,
which I think that would be a good book because you know what I've realized when I wrote my book is that if you're an author, whether it be a first time or you'll be an accomplished author, you'll be a best-selling author, is that your words resonate with your readers. You don't know what your words might mean. I tend to have a laid back, simplistic, but direct approach.
right.
I don't like to use too many big words, even though I could use them, but why use the $50 word when you could use the $5 word and it's, just as efficient, what I
Yeah.
mean? It would do just fine.
Oh yeah.
What it is that I kind of realized this, and I guess I'm speaking to you, the viewers, whoever might be listening, is that I personally believe everybody has a book in them.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be motivational or whatever, but I believe everybody, if you have lived as long as you live, you have a book in you. We have 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds that do little children's books.
Right.
So, it's something that, whenever it comes to fruition, it comes to fruition. Mine just happened to come to fruition in my 30s,
Right.
So what it is,
There's no
we got to
time
understand
frame.
is that
There's no time
it's a
frame.
time for it.
There's no time frame.
Yeah,
All you
it's
got
a
to do
time
is
frame.
is live and live the best that you can, and when you find the time to tell your story, do it. But I will offer the caveat of, don't wait till it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like you got a story in you, tell that shit. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, if you have a talent, you have an obligation to share it with people. You know what I'm saying? I think you're obligated if you have a talent. I don't care what the talent is. If you freaking can throat sing better than anybody who's ever throat sang, you do that shit and you show people how good you are at it, and allow
Well,
people to feel
there's a
that
reason you got
energy.
it.
You know, that's why I love actors. That's why I love novels. I love video games. Like I like anything that has a good story in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Especially if the story it resonates, and what you find is that the best thing to do is create good characters. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for your book, you are the character of that book. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because the book
mostly
is
the character.
definitely you. The book
Well,
is
yeah, it
definitely.
definitely is, man.
Let me ask you this: is it available as an audio book?
Unfortunately, when we was trying to do the deal, it's not available as an audiobook, but it is available on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. You
Tell
know.
everybody the name of your book, because I don't want to
Oh
butcher
yeah,
it. I don't have it with me.
I got it here, man. I got it here. I got
Oh
it here.
shit!
I
Yes.
don't know if you could
Now,
see it.
yeah, I can see it. Now, with that said, just let that sink in.
Yeah.
For the viewers who don't know, he would put that at the end of every one of his inspirational quotes, or anytime he was saying something to somebody on social media, it was that statement. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that said, just let that sink in. And that's a really, really good title, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
And on top of that, it's cheap. It's only $14.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? It's available on Kindle. I tell you what, I am getting into voiceover, so obviously I can't do your voice. But you know what I'm saying? I might just start reading it as a book, just recording me reading it. I'll send you the copies, man.
Hey, listen, man. I'll be flattered that of all the billions of books out there, you chose my book. So you know what I mean. That is all love on that part.
I'm doing everybody's book, man. That's the goal, man. I want to do books and eventually be a Batman cartoon. My ultimate goal is to be Batman. that's the goal.
That's a whole
man.
other story there, man.
Yeah,
but,
man. But look,
but I'll tell you this. I think with my book, what made my book more special, because I don't want to say the best book or anything like that, but what made my book special is that I put myself into the book, and I use like everyday examples. I use examples of myself. I use examples of like with nature shows. I use examples of Olympic athletes. I use examples of things that happened to me and things that may have like recently affected me. I use examples of things that happened in my childhood. I like to tell people that when I was the age of 14, I knew that I had to do something with like motivational speaking. I had a way with words,
right.
And I didn't believe in myself. And then it hit me back at the age of 28. And even between then, I went on a little conference when I was living back in Trinidad, and people were so impressed with me, and it was like, oh, he's smart, he's well-spoken and whatnot. And that was at 19. And I was real happy, and I was like, nah, that was just a flash in the pan.
Right.
And then at the age of 28, I had to realize that, listen, you got to start living your truth. You wasn't made to just go to work and come home.
Right.
You actually have something greater in you to give the world. And with this book, I think one of the best things about it is that it's very simplistic. So you could read this to your kids. If you notice, my book doesn't have any chapters,
right?
Because you could pick a random page,
right,
and
just
find
go
that
in.
It applies to your life.
Right. It's like a book. It's almost like a book of Aesop's fables. You know what I'm saying? Like you can.
That's a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment.
Like it's almost like a
that's
an
a compliment.
Yeah, man. Like because it's exactly that. It reads exactly in that way, but it's also it reads like how you speak. You know what I'm saying?
So it reads with an accent. Oh,
it definitely does, man. And again, I applaud you because everybody, almost everybody I've seen from then until now, everybody's progressing, and I applaud it. This podcast is a large part of it is about promoting my friends and allowing them to speak their truth and be honest and just do what you can to try and inspire and teach people and maybe try and change some minds. You know what I'm saying? Like I put up a video the other day where I think this was after Donald Trump had contracted coronavirus. I put up a video and because I don't want anybody to have this shit. I don't know if it's a hoax. I don't know if it's real. I don't know. And if 2020 has shown us anything, it's that we don't know shit. Nobody knows anything. So I don't like Donald Trump. I don't think he's a good guy, president, anything of the above, but I also wished him and his wife a speedy recovery. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the humane thing to do. We've gotten so caught up in being this or that, or you versus me, that we've kind of lost that humane treatment of each other. And I think that that's something that's not helpful, especially in these times when we're trying to be better and we're trying to come together. I think that should be the ultimate goal. Yeah, policies need to change. First thing we need is term limits. Your mayor, de Blasio, he's a bloody moron. Fucking, you know, I can say, you can't say that, but I can. I can see it. He's a fucking idiot. But, you know, I don't think what we need is more negativity. We need exactly what you're putting forth is more positivity. So keep doing it, brother. I appreciate you, man. Word up.
No problem, man. You know, the funny part is that, you know, while you was talking to me, my hand went in my book, and you know, if you'd allow me, I just want to read like a little something from my book. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, hell yeah, please.
All right, yeah, because it just came up here, so you know what I mean. I'm gonna try to coordinate, and this is from page 56, right?
Okay.
I just randomly put my hand on this, so let me read this for you. Let's talk about the negative. You're into a new year. And while I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, I do believe in improving oneself on a regular, consistent basis. In order to do this, one of the things we must do is avoid negativity in all its forms. Negative people, activities, lifestyles, choices, situations, TV shows, books, etc. must be deleted. Chances are if you don't remove yourself from negative things, they will have a negative effect on you. Instead, start embracing positive lifestyle activities. Spend your time engrossed in positivity. Watch uplifting TV shows, read books that enhance self-esteem. Spend more time around the people that encourage and believe in you. Write down a list of positive attributes that you no matter how small they are, and set a goal every day to develop one or more uplifting traits about yourself. If you do that every day for 1 year, you would have developed 365 helpful traits to add to what you already have. Pretty much you would have inspired and reinvented yourself at least 365 times over. Now, with that said, just let that sink in.
And we will end this right here. Yo, Kevon, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate
No problem,
you.
man.
That was beautiful.
No problem. No problem. I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Yo, do me a favor. Shoot me your social media and all that so I can post it on the video and all that. Just shoot me the email and or shoot me your Instagram and all that so I get it right. All right?
Okay. I got you, man. I'm going to do that now.
Yes, sir. One love, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care, man.
Yes, sir. One. Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy Frank Starfire, host of the Just to Be Frank podcast. If you like what you hear, do me a favor. Please like, subscribe, and share so I can keep bringing you the best content imaginable. And if you want to be a guest on the Just to Be Frank podcast, shoot me an email at frankstarfire696@gmail.com. It's right there. Don't worry. It's right there. I got you. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? I got one good eye, but I make magic and shit. Trust me. Have a good one, y'all. Abracadabra. One love.